Good afternoon, Mayor Robinson. We are good to go.
Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the special West Grey Council meeting of January 4th, 2022. On item number 1, the call to order, all members of council are present with exception to Councillor Doug Hutchinson. There is a quorum for this meeting. Corporate and Community Initiatives Officer, could you please go through the electronic features of this afternoon's meeting?
Absolutely. Before I begin, if at any point you get disconnected, you can dial 1-647-558-0588 and enter the meeting ID for this meeting, which is 865-9349-0348. Both members of council and staff have been briefed on the various features of the Zoom meeting software and will be raising their hands physically on camera to speak. For members of the public, if you require any technical assistance throughout the meeting, you can send a chat message to myself, Cody Hewlett, Corporate and Community Initiatives Officer, and I will attempt to assist you. It should be noted that this meeting is being held across 2 locations, both on Zoom as well as being live streamed on YouTube. Any public participation, if any, must be done through the Zoom meeting software and cannot be done through YouTube at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2, moment of reflection. If you'd be so kind, if you choose to take a pause at this time. Thank you. Item number 3, declaration of pecuniary interests and general nature thereof. Members of council, is there anything to declare at this time? Seeing none, we will now move on to item 4, staff report. 4.1, manager planning and development. 4.1.1, 42T-97005, Blackthorn Development Corp. Request for extension. So what I will do is ask Clerk Scharbeck to read the recommendation. We'll go for mover and seconder, should there be them, and we'll have the planner's presentation, questions from council, and then the vote. So at this point, Clerk Scharbeck, could you please read the recommendation?
Thank you, through you, Mayor Robinson. The recommendation is that council receives Planner Spencer's report and hereby supports the extension of draft plan approval for file 42T-97005 for an additional 3-year period to permit the submission of a red line revision to the plan of subdivision.
Is there a mover for this motion? Deputy Mayor, is there a seconder? Councillor Townsend. Over to you, Planner Spencer.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. The subject lands are located on the east side of Forler Street in the village of Neustadt, and the property is legally identified as Lot 4, Concession 13 in the former township of Normanby. A long-standing draft plan of subdivision does exist on the property, which was previously identified as the Gemmet subdivision. Draft plan approval for this property was granted in 1998. The lands have recently been purchased by the current developer, who wishes to proceed with development but does require a red line revision to the draft plan approval in order to provide different types of housing on the subject lands than were previously approved. As council is aware, the county is the approval authority for plans of subdivision. To accommodate the red line revision required for the extension of the draft plan approval, the lower tier municipality must provide support. And so due to the date of the existing approval and the current planning policy regime, updated documents are required to address matters related to servicing, traffic impact, and the newly proposed overall subdivision plan. Planning staff note that the current approval was to lapse on January 8th of this year. However, an emergency extension to ensure that the current approval does not lapse was issued by the County of Grey Planning Department. Pre-consultation with the current landowner has occurred, and staff are confident that the intent of the landowner to proceed with development and to update the plans and reports is evident. The next steps related to the application would be once a motion supporting the draft plan extension is provided by council, staff will forward the necessary copy to the County of Grey Planning and Development Department as required. Further assessment of the red line revision will be provided to council once formally submitted at that time. No further questions, but I'm happy to elaborate, comments, my apologies. I'm happy to elaborate as required by any member. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members of council, are there any questions? Seeing none. Clerk Sharpa, could you read the motion? And we'll just put a pause on that. Councillor Townsend, please.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. The plan that we did get of subdivision is dated November of 2021. So is that beginning of a revised plan, or is that the old plan?
Planner Spencer.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. This is the revised concept plan from the current landowner and developer. The old plan is dated from 1998. It still stands at the registry office at this time.
Okay, that's what I thought, and it does demonstrate a good willingness to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, members of council? Seeing none. Clerk Sharpa, could you please read the motion at hand?
Through you, Mayor, the recommendation moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchinson and seconded by Councillor Townsend is that council receives Planner Spencer's report and hereby supports the extension of draft plan approval for file 42T-97005 for an additional 3-year period to permit the submission of a red line revision to the plan of subdivision.
All those in favor indicate with a raised hand. Six members of council have voted in favor of this motion. The motion is carried. Item number 5, adjournment. Clerk Sharbeck to the recommendation, please.
Through you, Mayor, the recommendation is that we do now adjourn at 3:42 p.m. to meet again on January 18th, 2022, or at the call of the chair.
Is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Hergert. Is there a seconder? Councillor Shea. All those in favor indicate with a raised hand. 6 members of council have voted in favor of this motion. This motion is carried. We stand adjourned. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.